Okay, we are rolling. I guess you could call this the first ever Common Collected podcast. And today we're celebrating a couple different things. So our channel has recently reached 5,000 subscribers. We've been kind of back at it for more than a year now. And at the same time, our most popular video is nearing 1 million views. So to celebrate, Steve and I are going to look back at basically the last year at Common Collected, and we're also going to do a giveaway. So if you stick around to the end of the podcast as a thank you or reward, if you will, we'll tell you all about the giveaway.
Yeah, welcome everyone. This is a special anniversary, I think. And I feel like, we kind of started it as sort of a, documenting some things we were into. We went to the Jeppes Comic Museum and the Pop Culture Museum, and now it's unfortunately closed. But yeah, those videos, they were few and far between. Me living in Maryland and Jeremy living 4 hours north in Pittsburgh. But so, when we get together, it's finding something we can get into that we get to nerd out a little bit and have a good time and explore and kind of celebrate what we find as well. And so it was really cool that you were able to get things going a lot more passionately and regularly as well.
So Steve, the first ever video that you made for Common Collected was about Soundwave. Do you remember picking up that figure?
I do, and it's the one thing that I think really does get us together a lot of the time is the Steel City Comic Con. What Transformers collection is complete without a G1 Soundwave and either Buzzsaw or Laserbeak or something? And I was so happy to grab him for a decent price at the Steel City Con. And, and we knew there were how many hundreds, if not more, reviews of G1 Soundwave, but to just celebrate what a great toy, what a great figure, what a pop cultural icon he is. And again, that's where the passion is. You could have someone just talk to you for 20 minutes probably about just, it's a audio cassette player, remember that? And just the history of it, from a Japanese license to this American multinational star, and Frank Welker, and it just goes on and on of how this cassette deck means so much to so many people.
We've wanted to make videos for years, and we were inspired by people like Glenn Webb 4 or 5 years ago. We really weren't able to do more than like a video every once in a while. And with the advent, I guess, of Zoom, it just suddenly became possible to make a video remotely.
And it sure helped being able to work from home and not having commutes 5 days a week, too, giving us that extra time, but to also allow us to not only showcase some of our passions, our finds, things that we're into, to tell some stories, but also to keep us editing, keep us creative, keep us writing in just different ways to tell stories, or be it trivia, be it interviews, be it flashbacks to old videos that we hadn't looked at in a couple of years and went back to. So it was I think it's a great way also to just stay in practice as media producers, as editors, as videographers, as photographers.
And another funny thing about it is it almost becomes like a journal. Even after intensely working on a video for like 40 or 80 hours, once it's uploaded and it's been a few months, you kind of forget about it. And then you can go back and watch it later and kind of like be refreshed, like, oh yeah, that did happen, like, and we got that haul, and these were the figures that were in it, because you would easily forget those things. It's like a time capsule.
Yeah, it really is. But I mean, I really feel like it was your Matchbox Jurassic collecting that expanded into even more Hot Wheels as well as Matchbox. But just even looking at some of the videos that really kicked it off, they're all Jurassic World. It's all Matchbox. It's all John Hammond.
I think what happened for me practically, as far as just like personally my collecting in Matchbox, well, it started in 2018 with the licensed, cars from the movie. And then once I started going down that path of like trying to complete the Jurassic Matchbox set from like 2018, 2019, then I found that 2015 set that had the 98 Jeep in it. And I made that basically the first video once we picked things up again in 2020. Because that car goes back to 99, if you really want to be a collector and try to get the different versions of it, now you're looking at Matchbox cars that aren't Jurassic. and you're looking at ones from 99, 2000, 2001, and you can just go down a list basically online of every version of that car. And at that point, when you stepped into like the pool of just collecting Matchbox in a broad way and not, I mean, yes, it's like the niche of collecting the Jeep model, but it's not exclusive to Jurassic anymore. So you do that, and then it just branches out from there. Then I got an old lot from like the 70s and 80s, and then I saw a Hot Wheels track set at Target that I wanted or something, and it just kind of like, you just kind of give yourself permission to like branch out and do something new.
You can review a figure, you can talk about its articulation, but to be able to tell a story behind it, especially, I think that's one of the things that's really cool about some of the vintage figures. Vintage meaning, for us, it would have been, the 90s or something like that, or, maybe the late 80s, not necessarily just Star Wars or G1 Transformers, but to tell the stories from our childhoods of what made it important. I had the Dr. Claw was like the first real one I did, where it was just the history that went behind it, my personal relationship with that toy, or the Batman the Animated Series figures that we had some of them as kids, and now to realize, what, we can go back and fill in the holes in the collection, or even to have your nephew doing like reviews of Legos. It's just, I really enjoy that as well. Can you incorporate some humor into it? Can you find a way to not just be straightforward and just not just say, well, 5 points of articulation and it has missile firing action. Just something that makes it so awesome and relatable. You've gone from reading blogs and watching YouTube videos to being able to get in contact with some of these collectors and reach out to them and speak with them. Did you ever think a year and a half ago you'd be interviewing some of the top collectors in the Matchbox Jurassic field? Or, we've talked to vintage bootleg specialists, just how far you've come in a year.
One of the things that I am the most proud of is the Zoom interviews I've done recently with Champion DJK, and the ones about Jurassic Matchbox with David Tilley from the Lanley Group and Jurassic BAP. Because even though those videos don't have tons of views, those are the ones that like I knew for a long time I really wanted to do. Like, that's part of my big picture plan for Common Collected in encouraging all kinds of collecting, is speaking with top collectors and interviewing them in any niche. If the channel only was interviews with top collectors, getting their insights or their personal stories, like, that would be a channel that I would be really proud of, even if it didn't have tons of views.
And I feel like we do keep coming back to the idea of like passion. Like, you may not need to be the premier collector of vintage GI Joes, but that's something that's so amazing. We've seen people who have a good friend who's converted an entire room into a Nintendo museum, for lack of a better word, where you walk around and it's impossible to even just keep your eyes in one place because there's just so much cool stuff. Or I don't know, there's so much passion out there, and on the boards and on the internet and on other videos and in blogs and Instagram and posts, and it's really exciting to see that. I think as we move forward, I feel like, do you have other things that you're trying to get done with the channel, or you really want to try your hand at?
It's a tough thing because the type of creator that I am, and you know this, but I have a dry erase board actually just near us, sitting here in my office, with probably 40 ideas on it. I may have 20 times more ideas than time that I actually can use to execute a video. So I always have to kind of let the process go and help, like, let time basically determine like which one I can do, like, because I might have 5 ideas today, but a week from now, 2 weeks from now, one didn't happen for this reason, one didn't happen for that reason. They determine for themselves, for whatever reason, which ones I can execute and which ones I can't. It's hard for me to have like too big a picture of a plan on like what the channel will be like in the future. The Dr. Claw face reveal video that you made, that's actually one of the most popular videos that we have.
I think it was kind of crazy. That was that and the Total Tracker team, right? Where those were the first ones actually like cracked into the quadruple digits, and to kind of see the work that went into them sort of pay off.
Yeah, it's
And
always weird. The video that you work the hardest on and the one that you like the best isn't necessarily the one that succeeds the most. And I don't mean obviously mean that for your video, but for like the Total Tracker team, like that was kind of random that that particular video did as well as it did. And for us at the time, 5,000 views was like a lot.
it's amazing. I think one of the things I'm most proud of with the Dr. Claw video is I feel like it's one that has more engaging comments too, because it was some, the mystery of Dr. Claw. What did he look like? What did you think he looked like? What was your experience with it? The book art versus the video game art versus the toy art, and so like
There's
just
been a lot of dialogue in the comments about that.
yeah, that interaction is what's actually like, it's just not just well done, give me one first. It actually have some suggestions and productive and really interesting, passionate comments.
Before you made this video, all of my videos that were about Jurassic Matchbox were still pictures. So I was narrating and scripting a voiceover, but I would use still pictures of the cars to go along with the voice. But because the little bit of video that you did insert in addition to the stills, was the comedic element that made the video fun, it kind of challenged me when I made my next video.
I'm really glad that we could help raise the game in that. And I feel like there's so many videos that are just hands in front of the toy. And first of all, I don't know, it's just hard to shoot that way. And then not to mention it really, especially like with a Lego build, it's just so hard, and it takes some of the fun out when you're building it in front of a camera. Are you in the shot? Or are your hands in the way? Is the camera focusing on your knuckles instead of the bricks or something? And I think we're still always trying to figure out what's a new way, what's a fun way, engaging way, you as viewers, for us as viewers, for us as editors, to just make it fun.
And then my next video really was the Jurassic Park Jada Nano Hollywood Rides. And then my next toy review after that was the Tesla Cybertruck video. so like without the Dr. Claw video that you made and how it sort of pushed me into being willing to hit record and get video instead of just complimenting my voiceover with stills, I wouldn't have got to where I am with,
the tracks, and certainly I think Hot Wheels and tracks, what better way to do it than with some video. But I'm really glad that you were able to take it to the next level and make by far our most popular video right now.
You were working on your Trouble on Tatooine Lego video, and the same time you were working on that, my nephew Jonathan was making his first video, which was about Lego. So I was editing his Lego video, I believe, the same time that you were making your Lego video.
I mean, Lego has always been, my brothers and I, we always loved Lego, and it's just crazy how Lego is. You had your knight sets, you had your pirate set, you had, the adult sets, and just how licensing has taken over. And, you got the Star Wars sets and Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter's sets. And there was a lot of Lego reviews out there that, again, you're just reviewing the set. It's got X pieces and it's does this, but, could you have a little bit more fun with it, especially coming fresh off of watching The Mandalorian. And I really enjoyed doing like the time lapse, which it's still kind of stressful to do. You're on your hands and knees, afraid to, or at a desk or something, worried about the framing. But when you do that time lapse, it's just really cool to see it, and you see all the effort coming to life, and it's totally worth it.
I love that Lego Trouble on Tatooine review video. And it's kind of the story with, I think, our channel and most, small YouTube channels, is you don't ultimately have control over which videos do well or not. And we know this video really deserves more than 800 views, but we don't have supreme control over that. We're not Snoke, so.
Yeah. We're still, and the eternal mystery of YouTube algorithms and what makes something pop up or what's in the news that features it. And I think from there, obviously, that would be such a great transition to go into the single-handed carrier of this channel, which would be the Tesla truck, and just how crazy it was. Where some video we hope for 4 views, 5 views, 10 views, and it just felt like with this one, it's like, well, if we get 4,000 more views, it'll hit this. If we get 5,000 more views, it'll hit this. And it's just the exponential growth of that. Like, how was it from your angle?
So I've thought about all the different things that may have made the video successful or not. And I feel like the answer is it's just many, many different factors. I think it kind of goes back to, I guess, the very beginning being that the first time I saw the Hot Wheels 1/64 scale RC of the Nissan GT-R R35. So to me, when I saw that on the shelf at Target, that was the first time I've seen a Hot Wheels RC car that's 3 inches long, a 1/64 scale. I immediately thought to myself, like, oh, I want this, but it would be weird. I brought myself home a $20 RC car. So I texted Kelsey the picture and I was like, you should buy this for me for Christmas. So I knew the first time I saw it on the shelf, like, this is cool, I want this. And I didn't necessarily know that I was going to review it. I think I decided a little bit later. So that was probably November. Christmas, she got me the car, and it was January 28th when I finally published my video about it, and it had been out in November. So that video did okay, right off the bat, but it didn't, it wasn't gangbusters because the toy wasn't brand new. But this is literally what happened. Someone commented on the Nissan video, and they said, oh, I just got the Cybertruck. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What Cybertruck? And apparently they got it at Target, and it was a few days before it was actually released. So since they gave me that hot tip, I knew it was coming out March 1st, just was a few days early. So I literally went to Target, I think that day or the next day, and I couldn't find it. And I think you may have looked, at your Target. I bought one on eBay. And then before it even arrived, I did find it at Target. They had stocked them at my store. So I felt like the first video did well. Obviously, I knew the Cybertruck one was going to be exciting because people had pre-ordered for it a year earlier. And it was a surprise to me that it was coming to Target. So for all those reasons, it made sense for me to basically repeat my review video that I had made of the, GTR R35 and the Roger Dodger, and repeat the process, but this time with the Cybertruck. And I kind of thought it would do well because the first one did well. But, I mean, once it eclipsed, I think, 20,000 views, at that point, it was just like a joke. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe how well it's doing. Do you believe it is 20,000? Do you believe it is 50,000? And then that first weekend, we were together. I guess it was April.
Yeah.
That weekend, it was like 50,000, 100,000. It was kind of like a joke. Like, we just couldn't believe it, because this was, for many other YouTubers, maybe it doesn't mean anything. But for us, I think we had no other videos with 10,000 views.
Probably
so
still
once we hit like 15,000, 50,000, 100,000, it was already uncharted territory. Anything that it did beyond that, it was just like a joke at that point.
And what'd you call it again? The view count, the diagram?
Oh, Mount Cybertruck. So, I mean, if you look at YouTube analytics, and it has it charts views per day, right? So if you watch a video climb and maybe it's 5,000 today, and then 10,000, then 15,000, then 25,000, then 40,000. And I think there was a day maybe where it had about 40,000 views in a day. But that's not going to last. YouTube takes that video and shows it to a bunch of people, and it appears in their home page, and recommended videos are up next or whatever because it's popular in the moment. But then those people watch it, and then they don't need to watch it again. I don't know. So the views come back down quickly. So that's why it was dubbed Mount Cybertruck. So in April, you came down for the Steel City. Well, you came for the Steel City Con, but it was postponed again because of COVID. But that was the first time that you and I have been together in person since August, and all the videos that we made in between then and late in 2020 and into 21 were remote videos. They were Zoom. So in April, that was our first opportunity to be together again. And the idea we went with for a video concept was we were going to shop for diecast, and one of us would be Team Hot Wheels and one of us would be Team Matchbox, and we would each buy a certain number of cars and then try to figure out a way to race them and make a competition.
Yeah, and that was such a you talked about it for a while, and trying to make that happen, and just getting to stores again was even a small victory in of itself. Just getting out there, and
in April it was still a time where we were wearing masks.
yeah, I don't entirely follow Matchbox and Hot Wheels and Diecast, and it was your passion that made it more interesting to me. Like all kids, I had Matchbox, I had Hot Wheels, I drove them off brick walls and off steps and made them crash into things. And it's seeing your passion and learning about it that it made it more interesting for me. You know, that kind of, do I like the goofy stuff like the donut racer that affectionately known as Sprinkles now, and or do I like the classic cars? Do you go with the off the wall strange stuff, or do you go with the Hollywood references like the you found the yellow submarine from the Beatles a while back? But I guess I'm really off topic. But just to see what makes these things so cool and collectible, and we put so much effort into it. And
to your point, like if your goal is to pick out cars to race, how do you possibly know which ones are going to be fast? Because the physics don't, from like life-size cars to 3-inch cars, they don't translate, right? The physics don't translate.
Do you just go for heavy? Do you go for wheel size? Do you go for front weight? Do you go for
which ultimately was your plan? Was to hedge your bets.
Yep.
And go, have a big car, small car, big wheels, little wheels.
Yep.
And it was funny too how, we're still drawn to like models of fast cars. Does that make sense? Like ultimately the McLaren won, which probably in reality was the fastest vehicle out of the 16 we raced. In real life, the McLaren is like 300 mile an hour car.
Good point.
But how would you know that the model would be fast? You have no idea. It could be the ugliest,
Sprinkles
most
made it
plasticky vehicle that would be the fastest.
Sprinkles made it farther than we thought, but then at the same time, that giant black truck, was it the Sandblaster or something?
I was just gonna say, well, I think one of the ice cream trucks did well,
and
who knows?
And it was just, I don't know. It was so, first of all, what is going on with Matchbox distribution? Like, you can find Hot Wheels anywhere, anytime. And like Matchbox, we were lucky if we found 3 different cars in a store.
Yeah, I guess, I think it boils down to just, they don't get the same shelf space as Hot Wheels because, I guess they don't sell the same. But I don't know, it's funny catch-22 thing, right? If they had a bigger
chicken
shelf
egg
space, they would sell more. But they also make less cars per year. So there are 100 Matchbox cars a year, and there are 250 Hot Wheels, and then there's actually way more than that because there's color variations. So there's like 350 different Hot Wheels every year, and that's just the mainline vehicles. So like there are literally more that they need more space. They put out cases more often, and the cases have more cars in them. We did the video where we found them at Five Below, the Matchbox cars, and there were 15 total vehicles in the case. And some had 2 or 3 of the same vehicle, but there were literally only 15 different ones. A Hot Wheels case has 75 cars in it. Some of those are going to be doubles, but I don't know how many different ones. Probably 50 out of 75, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more different Hot Wheels.
Well, even just watching the video as we're recording this, I'm just looking at these dump bins. I'm like, I could have pulled out 200 cars if I wanted to, and you were struggling to find 3.
Yeah, I definitely felt like whoever had Matchbox would be the underdog because there'd be less to choose from. But that kind of goes back to the unpredictability of the speed. Like, who knows which one will be fast? It's a crapshoot.
Do we want, now that I'm seeing it on screen again, do you want to give a shout out to the friend we made because of your hats that you picked out for us? What was the deal? You had this Matchbox hat on that was, I don't know, fairly obscure, but this guy who was at least 60 years old, right? If not older.
And I think at least 2 other people mentioned my hat that day too.
Yeah. And to just ask you, it's like, well, what are you into? I think you said, where did you get that hat from?
Or maybe that was it.
And so it just goes back to the passion.
And I was like, oh, I made it. Because I just ironed a patch on the hat.
And a fine job he did. What was he collecting again?
He basically let us know that he collected cars. and older cars, you know. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, I like Matchbox from the 70s. He's like, oh no, older than that, like dinky cars or something. And I was like, okay,
Yes.
nice. That's nice. Nice to meet you.
Meanwhile, there's that like little glimmer of hope that maybe it was like, oh, well, yeah, I'm trying to get rid of them all. I'll sell them all to you or something. And we'd inherit this amazing, collection. But you still have those hats, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
We're
cool.
gonna have to wear them when we do a follow up. No, maybe not. I don't know. We've talked about it. We think, well, obviously this video has to do a little bit better before we'd ever do follow up. But if we did, it would probably have a new theme. It would be, Hot Wheels monster trucks versus Monster Jam, or it'd be Mario Kart themed or something like that. It would have a new theme maybe. There are new cases of Matchbox. How many a year? 12 or something. So you almost could do a video every month that would be Matchbox versus Hot Wheels, except it was a lot of work. It was legit a month's worth of work. Part-time, outside of your day job, you're making YouTube videos. If we did a Hot Wheels versus Matchbox video, we could only pump out one a month.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
But very fun to do. And it's sort of a celebration of being back out in civilization, and cautiously, of course. And then, of course, the big race happened. I think we did that, like 1 until 4 in the morning. I had to go back home.
I don't know. Was it really that
I think I had to go back home, I think, that following day or something. And it was just kind of like, let's just get this done. The build up, we got the cars with the track laid out. You had to buy some more track. And
you know what I think what it was is the setup took all day. But once we were actually rolling, the race itself probably only took like 20 minutes.
Yep.
But it takes a long time to set up. And then we edited it into like 8 minutes.
And then to have that flub where we called the wrong car as the winner in that one race, just because I think we were probably just too tired to realize what had happened.
Well, you know what? Actually, I blame the track, because these super 6-lane speedways, they are numbered 1 through 6. And I feel like generally, maybe it's because we're American, we want to see the cars travel from left to right. So everyone sets up their track so that the ramp is on the left and then it moves to the right. But then the track numbers are backwards. So the track that's furthest from you is number 1 and the closest to you is number 6. And I just think that's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Like you would think the track that's closest to you is 1 and then they get further away and it's 6, but it's backwards.
And what was the VW Bug that got robbed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, Volkswagen.
I told you this, but I wouldn't worry about it because I don't think it really impacted the outcome of the race, because even if the VW Bug had moved on, it would have still lost its next round.
Yeah, true. So one of the things that we talk about, again, is the passion, the stories, the builds, the creation, the reviews of what we think of it. But I know that one thing you started working on that was really cool is you did the eBay search tips for collectors, where to just, again, it's not reviewing a toy, you're giving legitimate tips. So it's cool to give back to the community a little bit. And, you as having worked at a toy store, a collector's store for a little while. I worked at a Toys R Us for a little while, and
a comic book store one time.
Yeah, that is right. I forgot. So it's just we
have professional experience in the hobby field.
There you go. We are officially experts.
Professional. Well, one-time professionals.
Exactly, with combined 2.5 years of experience between us.
I technically managed a pop culture collectible store.
Oh, there you go. So that's,
for like 8 months.
That's why you should tune in.
No, it might have been 10 months.
There you go. To be fair, all those businesses have closed, unfortunately. We won't name names, but obviously Toys R Us didn't quite make it. But
I do have an Easter egg, in my new set quote, right? That's the corner of my toy room that has some Easter eggs to the store I used to work at.
To be fair, though, we are good workers, so we weren't the reason Toys R Us failed. But yeah, I've got a couple of little things I'm working on. I'd like to tell a couple more stories, and I think that's where it's kind of difficult is, when you're a kid, you have stories, whereas an adult collector, it's just sort of like, well, I wanted one, I got one. Or I found a good price on eBay, and that's your story. But I would like to continue to sort of engage with why something means so much to me. And that's what I really enjoy doing with photography, with videography, and now with these as well. And I'm hoping I can keep it up. It's just, it's not as easy to do, I feel like, with new things, or if you don't have a story behind it, if it's a new license or something, or just something is a new interest. You don't have those 20 years of history, 30 years of history, but collecting is for people of all ages. We've got the kids, we've got the adults, we're running into mature collectors, and that's, I think, what's so amazing, and again, why we're doing this.
And you've got to make the video that's interesting to you, and then hopefully other people find it interesting too.
Yeah.
But you can't, be a servant to what other people might like and then make videos that you don't have passion for.
Exactly, and I think that, that's where burnout can set in so easily, or disappointment. Oh, I spent 50 hours on this video and it's got 225 views, and we kind of come back to that sort of struggle of passion and happiness versus views and clicks and AdSense and things like that.
It's always a tough thing, like, to balance out, right? The videos that we want to make with the videos that we think people are actually going to watch. And staying true to yourself and not, being a servant to like views, right? And make videos that you don't even enjoy.
Again, we are so thankful to you all for even being able to relate to us in the community and share your stories, share your comments. And we're excited to see where the next year is going to be taking us. And we hope you all stick around and that we can keep making content for you.
We haven't really talked too much about the viewers, but we do. This channel wouldn't exist without the viewers that we have and the people that comment. And it sounds silly, but there was a time last summer when we had only posted 2 or 3 videos, but we had one commenter who was like, "Why'd you stop uploading?" And I didn't realize that someone out there cared, because if our videos only had like 300 or 400 views, I never would have thought there would have been someone out there that actually was like waiting for the next one. So it's easy to forget that there's actually an audience that these videos are reaching. And even though we don't think of ourselves as like a quote YouTuber, right? Like, other people, that's by default the way they think of us.
I think there is that motivation or pride in that someone legitimately wanted to see your work. Someone wanted to hear what you had to say. Someone that appreciated what you did. This is sort of like a journal or something, or a celebration of what we do and some of our passions and things that we're excited about. And people, the same reason that we get excited by other people's videos and their content, and everyone who's saying, well, I had one friend who is working on dioramas, and he saw one of my videos and kind of thought, well, I really think I want to try that. And again, we're building off of some of our favorite channels, especially during such hard times, difficult times, being at home, not being able to get out, see friends, see family, whatever. Just to have something that takes your mind off of it and that you can enjoy, discover something new or learn something new. Or I didn't even know that figure existed, or I didn't know that wave was out yet, or you're right, it's good seeing Team Matchbox crush Team Hot Wheels or something. Like, it really is a community, and I hope we can continue to be part of it, and that you all will continue to enjoy it and tune in and encourage others to do so.
Let us know in the comments what kind of videos that we've done that you liked the most, because we can't take the view count as the only measure of what kind of videos we should be making. So let us know what you liked.
Awesome. 2020, 2021. Here's going into 2022. Let's see what happens.
And if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. And as far as that giveaway goes, so what we're going to do is, to celebrate 5,000 subscribers here on our channel, we're going to give away a Hot Wheels RC of the Tesla Cybertruck, the $20 version, of course. And then also we're going to give away, we have a DeLorean RC as well. But the way to do it is not to ask for engagement on YouTube. So please only like and comment, subscribe, and all that stuff if you actually enjoy, our videos and our channel. But the way to enter the contest for the giveaway is go to Instagram, if you have Instagram, and take a picture of yourself with any collectible, your favorite collectible, anything that you collect, and hashtag calm and collected 5K. Just as it appears on the screen right now. And if you don't use Instagram, you can still enter by emailing us your picture at commentcollected@gmail.com, and we will draw the winner on Halloween, October 31st, 2021. And we will ship it anywhere in the world as long as we can anyway. That officially wraps up this video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bum, 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 bum. Ding.